2026 is not just another year. It's a line in the sand. The moment you decide whether you keep repeating the same mistakes or you finally become someone new. Because let's be honest, you're not here to trade like the person you were in 2023, 2024, or even 2025. You're here to evolve, to shed the fear, the hesitation, the inconsistency that has been holding you back for far too long. This year is not about finding a new strategy. It's not about indicators, signals, or guessing the next big move. It's about something deeper. The version of yourself you must become to survive and win in a market that punishes the emotional and rewards the disciplined. 2026 is the year you stop reacting and start executing. The year you stop hoping and start controlling. The year you stop repeating your past and start rewriting your future. This is your rebirth, a psychological reset, a mental clean slate. If you're ready to trade without fear, to follow your rules without compromise, and to build consistency that lasts a lifetime, then welcome. Because 2026 is the year you walk into the market as the person you were meant to become, not the person your past has shaped you to be. Step 1. Define your true edge. Before you take a single trade in 2026, you must answer one question. A question that, surprisingly, most traders cannot answer with clarity. What is your edge? Not what strategy you use, not what indicators you prefer, not what time frame you like. Your edge is not a tool. It is not a pattern. It is not a secret entry signal. Your edge is the repeatable condition under which you have a statistical, behavioral, and psychological advantage over the average trader. Many traders believe they have an edge because they found a setup that looks good. But in reality, most of what they consider an edge is nothing more than a comforting illusion, a belief unsupported by data or distorted by emotion. So in 2026, we start from the only place that matters. 1. Your edge must be statistical. An edge must be measurable. It must be defined by numbers, not feelings. Ask yourself, what is your actual win rate? What is your average RR? In 50, 100, 200 trades, does the distribution generate positive expectancy? A trader without data is not a trader. He is a hopeful participant in a game he doesn't understand. Your strategy is not real until you can state clearly, my edge works because over a large sample size, the math favors me. If you cannot say that, you do not have an edge, you have a hobby. 2. Your edge must be behavioral. Even the best strategy fails in the hands of someone who cannot execute it consistently. A true edge requires you to examine your own behavior. Can you hold winners without panic? Can you cut losers without hesitation? Can you trade without chasing? Can you follow rules even when emotions spike? Most traders sabotage their own edge by breaking their own rules. So ask yourself, can I execute this edge under pressure? If the answer is no, the edge might exist, but you don't have it yet. 3. Your edge must match your personality. A scalper's edge cannot save a swing trader. A breakout trader cannot thrive using mean reversion methods. Your edge must fit your patience level, your tolerance for uncertainty, the hours you can trade, your emotional triggers, your decision-making style. If your edge conflicts with who you are, no amount of discipline will make it sustainable. In 2026, you win by choosing a strategy that plays to your strengths, not your fantasies. 4. Your edge must be simple enough to execute every day. Complexity kills consistency. An edge should not require 8 indicators, 3 confluences, and a prayer. It should be so simple that you can explain it to a beginner in 1 minute. Because here is the truth. Simple systems survive volatility. Complicated systems collapse under stress. In 2026, the trader who wins will be the one who chooses simplicity, repetition, and clarity over complexity. So here is your step 1 assignment. Define your edge in 1 sentence. Not a paragraph, not a full-page explanation, just one clear, measurable statement. I make money when X happens because Y gives me statistical and emotional advantage. If you cannot summarize your edge, you cannot scale it. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. If you cannot repeat it, you cannot become consistent. Step 1 is your foundation, your anchor. Everything else in 2026 will be built on top of it. Step 2. Build a simple, repeatable system. If Step 1 gives you your edge, then Step 2 gives you the machine that delivers it. Because clarity without structure is useless. An edge without a system is just potential, and potential never made anyone consistently profitable. Most traders think they have a system, but what they really have is a vague collection of ideas. Enter when it looks good, exit when it feels right. Risk depends on confidence. That is not a system. That is emotional trading dressed up as logic. In 2026, your system must be something more. A repeatable, mechanical framework that removes emotion from decision-making. A true system should produce the same decisions whether you're confident or afraid, whether you slept well or not, whether the last trade was a loss or a win. Let's break down what that system must contain. 1. Clear entry criteria. No ambiguity allowed. Your entry rules must be so specific that someone else could trade your system exactly as you do without talking to you. Ask yourself, what must the market be doing? What structure must be present? What conditions must be met precisely before you enter? What invalidates the setup? If your rule is vague, your execution becomes emotional. Ambiguity is the birthplace of inconsistency. In 2026, your entries must be binary. Either your setup exists or it does not. No maybe. No, it looks close enough. No, I think it could work. 2. Predefined exit strategy, both stop and target. You cannot be consistent if you don't know exactly how and when you'll leave the trade. Your exit strategy should include a fixed stop loss based on structure or volatility, a pre-calculated target based on risk-reward, a rule for partial exits, if any, a rule for trailing stops, if any, a rule for when not to manage, the most ignored but crucial element. Traders don't lose because stops are bad. They lose because they move stops, because they improvise, because they hope. Your exit plan must eliminate hope entirely. 3. A single, stable risk framework. Risk is not a suggestion. It is the engine of consistency. You must define your fixed risk per trade, for example, 1R, your daily loss limit, your maximum allowable volatility, your maximum number of trades per session. In 2026, inconsistency dies the moment risk becomes variable. A trader who risks 0.5% one day, 3% the next, and 1% the next is not trading. He is gambling with a calculator. 4. Conditions for not trading, the most overlooked rule. A consistent trader knows when not to participate. A beginner thinks trading is about finding opportunities. A professional knows it's about filtering them. Define when market structure is unclear, when volatility is outside your comfort zone, when liquidity conditions are dangerous, when your emotional state is compromised, when time of day makes your edge weaker. Your system must protect you from trading in environments where your edge disappears. Doing nothing is a skill, and in 2026, it will be a competitive advantage. 5. The one-page system rule. If your system can't fit on one clean page, you will never execute it consistently. A good system is not one that is smart, it's one that survives pressure. Simple systems outperform complex ones because they're easier to follow, they're harder to sabotage, they react better to volatility, they reduce emotional decisions, they scale with discipline, not willpower. Complexity is an ego trap. Simplicity is a consistency engine. Step 2. Assignment. Create your one-page system. It must include entry criteria, clear, binary, exit plan, stop plus target, risk framework, no trade conditions, System flowchart, visual equals easier compliance. Once this system is built, your job is no longer to trade well. Your job is simply to follow the machine you created. Your results in 2026 will be determined not by how smart your system is, but by how consistently you execute it. Step 3. Emotional control and execution psychology. Once you have an edge, and once you have a system, you will confront the only enemy powerful enough to destroy both: your emotions. Fear, greed, impatience, hesitation, FOMO, all of them are biological reactions designed for survival, not for trading. And this is the brutal truth. Your brain was not built for uncertainty. Markets are uncertainty. That is why trading feels like a war inside your own mind. In 2026, the winners will not be the smartest traders. They will be the ones who can execute their systems while emotions scream at them to do the opposite. Let's break down the core psychological skills you must master. 1. Neutrality over confidence. A consistent trader does not aim to be confident. Confidence fluctuates. Neutrality doesn't. Neutrality means you don't fear the next trade. You don't worship the last win. You don't panic during a drawdown. You don't expect certainty where none exists. While most traders seek emotional comfort, professionals seek emotional silence. 2. The emotional spike protocol. Before every trade in 2026, apply the following. Breathe for 5 seconds. Regulate your nervous system. State your risk. Turn fear into structure. Read your entry checklist aloud. Wait 10 seconds before pressing buy, sell. This tiny time delay breaks 80% of impulsive actions. 3. Accept risk before entry. If you do not accept the full loss of the trade emotionally before entering, you will sabotage the trade later. Acceptance means no anger if the stop is hit, no panic if price pulls back, no shame for being wrong, no need to fix the trade. Accept risk, gain clarity. Deny risk, stay in fear. 4. The market doesn't validate you. Stop needing it to. Wins don't make you a genius. Losses don't make you a failure. Detach identity from outcome. Attach identity to process. That is the psychology of a 2026 consistent trader. Step 4. Build a risk engine that protects you from yourself. A system without a risk model is a car without brakes. Risk determines your longevity, and longevity determines your profitability. In 2026, this is your risk philosophy. Small, stable risk mean long-term consistency. Large, variable risk mean emotional collapse. 1. Fixed risk per trade. Choose one number, for example, 1R, and never break it. Do not scale based on confidence. Do not reduce size based on fear. Risk is mathematics, not emotion. 2. Daily loss limit, your psychological safety net. Set a limit of -2R or -3R per day. If you hit it, stop. Walk away. Do not negotiate with your emotions. Prop firms require this because it works. Retail traders need this because you're far more fragile than you think. 3. Maximum trades per day. Limit exposure. The more you trade, the more emotional you become. Set a maximum of 2 to 4 trades. You're aiming for quality, not dopamine. 4. Volatility suitability filter. In 2026, volatility will be unpredictable. Have rules for when volatility is too high or too low for your style. A stable risk engine smooths your entire emotional landscape. Step 5. The 3-phase trade management framework. Trade management is where most traders destroy their system, not because they lack skill, but because they cannot handle uncertainty while in a trade. Here is the framework. Phase 1. Pre-trade clarity. Before entering, you must know why this trade is valid, where exactly you're wrong, where exactly you're right, what your risk is, what your exit rules are. Clarity kills fear. Phase 2. In-trade neutrality. Once you're in the trade, no analysis, no new decisions, no changing stops, no moving targets, no adding positions unless predefined. Your only job, let the system work. Any mid-trade decision is emotional by default. Phase 3. Post-trade accountability. The only question that matters after a trade: did I follow my rules? Not, did it win? Should I have held longer? Did I miss something? Outcome is irrelevant. Process is everything. This mindset turns chaos into consistency. Step 6. Journaling that actually makes you consistent. Journaling is not about recording charts. It's not about saving screenshots. It's not about documenting wins and losses. The purpose of a journal is simple: to reveal the psychological patterns that sabotage your consistency. Once you see your patterns, you can correct them. What you can correct repeatedly becomes discipline, and discipline becomes consistency. This is why journaling is not optional in 2026. It is the backbone of your evolution. Let's rebuild your journaling method from the ground up. 1. Record the mind, not the market. Most traders write entry, here, exit, here, stopped out, profit. This is useless. You already know what happened. The chart knows what happened. Your MT4, MT5 trading view history knows what happened. What you need to know is what happened inside you, because that is where consistency breaks. So your 2026 journal starts with the only thing that matters. What was I feeling and thinking before, during, and after the trade? Ask yourself, was I calm or was I rushing? Was I following a plan or chasing a feeling? Did I enter early because of fear? Did I take profit early because of impatience? Did I move stop-loss because I couldn't accept being wrong? This is where the transformation begins. 2. The rule compliance score, 0 to 10. This is your accountability mirror. After every trade, ask, did I follow my rules? Not, did I win? Did the trade move in my direction? Was it a good idea? You score only one thing: execution discipline. If your system says, wait for confirmation, risk 1R, stop loss fixed, exit at target, no trading in emotional state, then your journal asks, did you do exactly that? A losing trade with 10 out of 10 compliance is a victory. A winning trade with 2 out of 10 compliance is a time bomb. 2026 consistency requires brutal honesty. 3. Identify your psychological trigger. Every trader has 1 to 2 emotional triggers that ruin 80% of their results. The goal is to find yours. In your journal, categorize mistakes into these triggers: impulsiveness, entering too early; fear of missing out, entering without confirmation; avoidance of loss, moving stops; greed, holding beyond the system; revenge behavior, trading emotionally after a loss; overconfidence, oversizing during win streaks; boredom, trading without valid setup. Once a trigger appears repeatedly in your journal, you now know your real opponent. It was never the market. It was the emotion you refused to acknowledge. 4. Rate the setup quality. Not every trade deserves equal confidence. After the trade, rate the setup on a scale of 1 to 3. 1 equals low quality, 2 equals valid but average, 3 equals premium setup. This shows you if your losses come from bad luck or from taking low-quality trades. Most traders lose not because of poor strategy, but because they don't filter setup quality. Rating fixes this. 5. Weekly psychological review. This is where the magic happens. Each week, look back at your journal and ask, which mistake repeated? Which emotion appeared most often? Which days were most emotional? Which conditions made you break rules? You are training your mind like an athlete trains performance. And when you do this consistently, something extraordinary happens. Patterns turn into awareness. Awareness turns into control. Control turns into consistency. This is the real purpose of journaling, not to remember trades, but to remake the trader. Step 7. Build a daily and weekly routine for 2026. If your edge is the engine and your system is the vehicle and your psychology is the fuel, then your routine is the road you drive on. Without a stable routine, even the best trader becomes a victim of randomness. With a stable routine, even a mediocre trader can outperform 90% of the market. Consistency is not created during trades. It is created in the routines around your trades. A. The daily routine. How to trade with a clear mind every day. A consistent trader treats their day like a pilot treats a flight with a checklist, a protocol, and a rhythm. No randomness, no chaos, no guessing. Your daily routine has 3 phases. 1. Pre-market routine. Prepare your mind, not just your chart. Before analyzing the market, analyze yourself. Ask, am I calm or restless? Am I trading to make money or to feel something? Did I sleep enough? Am I trading to escape stress from life? Then, apply the pre-market ritual. A. 60 seconds of breathing. Calm the nervous system. A calm trader sees clearly. A stressed trader sees threats. B. Review your no-trade conditions. If the market is choppy, volatile, or outside your playbook, you do not trade. C. Visualize your execution. Athletes visualize their performance. Traders must do the same. D. Review your system flowchart. Repetition strengthens discipline. Only after this do you open the charts. 2. Execution routine, the rhythm of discipline. When trading begins, you follow process, not emotion. Open only the charts in your playbook. Use your entry checklist before pressing any button. If emotions spike, pause, breathe, step away. Log every trade immediately after execution. Your execution routine turns chaos into structure. 3. Shutdown routine. Protect your mind. After trading, when the session ends, stop trading. No exceptions. Record compliance score, 0 to 10. Note emotional spikes. Capture any moments of temptation. Close all platforms. A shutdown routine prevents you from revenge trading, overtrading, and carrying emotional residue into the next day. The day ends when the routine ends, not when the market feels done. B. The weekly routine. Your weekly review is where insight becomes improvement. Most traders only review their wins and losses. Professionals review their behavior. Here's your 2026 weekly structure. 1. Review all trades through a psychological lens. For each trade, ask, why did I take it? Was it aligned with my system? What emotion influenced me? Did I justify a bad decision? Was the setup high quality or desperation? This builds self-awareness, the fuel of consistency. 2. Track your compliance metrics. The 3 numbers that matter more than profit. Rule, compliance rate, emotional stability score, setup quality score. Profit is the symptom. These metrics are the cause. 3. Identify patterns and create corrections. If fear shows up repeatedly, reduce size. If impatience appears, trade fewer setups. If overconfidence appears, enforce break days. If boredom triggers trades, limit screen time. 2026 is the year of behavior-first correction, not strategy-first correction. 4. Reset your mind for the week ahead. Before finishing your weekly routine, reread your trading principles. Recommit to your risk model. Remind yourself of your identity as a disciplined trader. This resets your mental framework. Routine is the invisible architecture behind every long-term profitable trader. Step 8. The 100 Trade Consistency Challenge. Most traders never reach consistency because they never accumulate enough structured repetitions to make discipline automatic. They trade 5 setups this week, 3 next week, switch systems after a losing streak, or stop trading entirely when emotions get loud. So their brain never forms the habits required for consistency. The 100 Trade Challenge fixes this by forcing your mind to become stable and forcing your system to reveal its true nature. Let's break down why this challenge is so powerful. It breaks emotional trading patterns. It forces you to think in probabilities. It shows you the true strength of your system. It builds discipline through repetition. It removes the desire to fix things too early. How to do the 100 Trade Challenge correctly. 1 setup, 1 system, 1 time frame, 1 risk model, 100 trades. Full journaling. Rule compliance tracking. 0 deviation. You earn consistency not by winning trades, but by following your process 100 times in a row. The transformation after 100 trades. By the time you complete the challenge, your emotions will be quieter, your execution will be cleaner, your confidence will come from data, not hope. Your fear will be replaced with acceptance. Your identity will shift from emotional trader to mechanical trader. Your results will stabilize, and your mind will finally understand the truth. Consistency is engineered, not discovered. Step 8 is the bridge between theory and transformation. Once you cross it, you will never trade the same way again. Step 9. Scaling up the right way. Scaling is not about greed. It's not about wanting more money. It's not about being ready for the next level. Scaling is a privilege that must be earned by your data, not your emotions. Scaling amplifies everything, your strengths, and your weaknesses. That's why Step 9 teaches you the most important rule. Never scale because you want more money. Scale because your system and your mind are stable enough to handle it. Here's how to do that one. The readiness checklist. Only scale when all are true. You may increase lot size only when all 3 conditions are met. Condition 1. Your rule compliance rate greater than 80%. You cannot scale chaos. You can only scale discipline. If you break your rules at small size, you will emotionally implode at big size. Condition 2. Emotional variability is low. Ask yourself, are you panicking less? Are you forcing fewer trades? Are your emotions more predictable? Are you calmer during drawdowns? Are you holding winners without fear? If your emotions still swing violently, your size must not swing with them. Condition 3. Expectancy is positive. Across 100+ trades, not 10 trades, not a good week, not a lucky streak. 100 trades minimum, a statistically significant sample. If the math says your system works, then you can scale. If not, scaling magnifies the damage. 2. Scale slowly. Professionals don't jump. When your data says yes, you scale by 20 to 25% increases, not doubling. Examples: 1 lot, 1.2 lots, 0.50 lots, 0.60 lots, 2% risk, 2.4% risk. You expand gradually so your psychology can adapt. Amateurs scale emotionally, professionals scale mathematically. 3. Maintain the same rules at bigger size. Scaling must never change your behavior. At larger size, you must still take the same setups, follow the same stop loss, follow the same target, obey the same daily loss limit, obey the same no trade conditions, use the same journaling system. When size increases but rules stay the same, you remain consistent. When size increases and rules break, you collapse. 4. Reset your psychology after scaling. This is the step most traders skip. After increasing size, you must assume your emotions will intensify, Your fear will return. Every move will feel heavier. Every pullback will feel personal. So you reset your emotional protocol. Extra breath work, extra journaling, reduced session length, increased review frequency, more conservative expectations. Scaling equals new emotional environment. Treat it like a new season in your trading career. 5. Scale down when needed. This is power. Professionals scale down without shame. Scaling down is not losing, it is protecting your long-term future. Your rule: if discipline drops below 70% compliance, scale down immediately. Not because the system is bad, but because you need emotional reset. Scaling down is a form of strength because it protects consistency. 6. Gradual scaling, compounding, freedom. When done correctly, your account grows consistently, your confidence becomes stable, your emotional swings become smaller, losing streaks become manageable, winning streaks become controlled. The system becomes cleaner, the trader becomes stronger. Scaling is not an event, it is a controlled evolution. Do it right, you see exponential growth. Do it wrong, you erase months of discipline. Consistency is not built in the charts. It is built in your identity. After all the steps, the edge, the system, the psychology, the risk model, the routine, the journaling, the challenge, the scaling, you are ready to build your trading career. Once you shift who you are, everything you do in the market changes. And when everything you do changes, your results follow. This is the moment you stop trying to look like a trader and finally become one. Welcome to the new version of you.